Francois and the founder of In Good Clean Taste. I am dedicated to helping women entrepreneurs design a healthy lifestyle by incorporating healthy, delicious tools, tips, and resources that empower their inner and outer game. Every episode, my featured guest and I share our healthy, delicious lifestyle journey on my globally recognized show, Healthy, Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine. Oh my gosh, hello and welcome to Healthy, Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine. I am content creator and board certified functional medicine and holistic health practitioner, Claudine Francois. And you can learn more about me and my products and my services at ingoodcleantaste.com. I cannot wait to introduce you to today's guest. As I told her just a minute ago in the green room, she is absolutely famous to me. You're going to love her. And today's show topic is how to get your thyroid back on track with Thyroid Warrior Sarah Lohman. This woman is going to rock your world. So I'm going to bring her up from the green room in just a sec, but let me tell you a little bit more about her first. Coach Sarah Joy is not just one of America's breakthrough thyroid coaches. She is a fellow thyroid warrior and has eliminated more than 25 daily symptoms in her own life, including low energy, depression, anxiety attacks, food intolerances, memory loss, and weight gain. So if you or someone you know has these symptoms, listen up. So I'm going to bring her in and you can hear all about it from the amazing Coach Sarah Joy.
Oh
Welcome.
my gosh, that was so cute. Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you. There's so much goodness that you have to share. I just want to get right into it. And the first thing I'm going to ask you is the first thing I ask all my guests, which is, what does a healthy, delicious lifestyle mean to you?
Oh my gosh, there's so many different things. Okay, so a healthy, delicious lifestyle. I think that it means, for me at least, it's about living in total alignment with yourself. So, what this means is like focusing on having healthy, delicious daily practices, nutrition, hydration, your environment, and of course, your relationships.
So
I know
good.
that this isn't something that we can achieve overnight, but with the work, it is totally possible to achieve.
That is so good. And I think what you just said at the end is the key to it, right? It's not like you can just wake up one day and decide, I'm going to change all my life practices. It
Mhm.
is absolutely a journey. And I think for those of us who have had challenges along the journey, that just makes us stronger and makes us more able to see how important it is to to put ourselves first, really,
Mhm.
right? To put our
Mhm.
health first. You know, okay, so I have heard your story now a couple of times. I'm getting chills just like
Aw.
I haven't even said anything yet. I've heard your
No
story
way.
a couple of times, and I would love for you to share a little bit about what you went through to bring you to where you are today. Because where you are today, the Thyroid Warrior, it's a perfect
Mhm.
name for you, the perfect title, because you really had to go out there and decide. You had to put a stake in the ground and say, this thing
Mhm.
isn't going to kill me. I'm going to figure it out. So tell us a little bit about what that was like. So for everyone else who's like, what is she talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, I'm like a rebel with a cause, like a disruptor, and all the different cool titles, that I've identified myself with. So, yeah. Well, thank you. Let's dive into that because there's so much to say. But let me just start with like a basic intro as well. It's like I'm the CEO and founder of Coach Sarah Joy, and I am a certified transformational nutrition coach, and I have a degree in health and fitness. And I was sick for a really freaking long time, for 10 years with hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's. Um, After reversing and unidentifying myself, I think that's a key. Okay. Like everyone's like, oh, I want to reverse this. I want to get rid of my autoimmune, this, that. And I'm like, yeah, but have you ripped that medical label off your forehead and unidentified yourself from that diagnosis? Because a lot of chronic illness warriors will begin to literally see themselves as their diagnosis, and we can get into more of that later. But after doing this, I I realized I had to become a thyroid coach because not only is there no real support system in place for women who are struggling from thyroid conditions, but the medical community is operating on over 100-year-old theories and uncalibrated testing and subjecting women to very barbaric medical procedures. And on top of the systems having nothing to offer thyroid warriors that tells them why they're sick or any ways to help them recover their health, most women are still sick and struggling after having partial or full thyroid removals. And meds don't do much either, except for lining the pockets of the top fat cats, as we all know. So, the root causes are never being addressed or even spoken about by primary doctors, especially endos, which everyone thinks the endos are supposed to be their like lifeline. Well, and,
Mhm.
the majority of them are getting totally shot down by that. But and I know there are some really great alternative and functional medicine doctors helping a lot of women, but even a lot of them are missing the mark and not able to move women's health forward the way they need it in order to totally recover their health. So, yeah, I went through hell and back, and was diagnosed in 2009, and then got diagnosed again in 2015, and it just felt like the hits just kept coming. And no matter it was almost like the harder I tried to be healthy, the worse and sicker I got. And there's a lot of factors to that we can go into, but um yeah, it was like, this divine interruption of this hamster wheel that I was stuck on when my brother was shot and killed in San Diego in 2000, 3 days before his 39th birthday. And I was almost about to bake his birthday cake. And instead, I ended up on his birthday cleaning out his room because he was now dead. Um, it was definitely, like you said, I stuck a stake in the ground at that moment. And it was on the day of his funeral, actually, that I was attending his funeral, that whole mindset shift, perspective shift, everything shifted in my life, burying my brother. And I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to stay married to a man that's abusive. I'm not going to live in a house I hate, a town I hate. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Mm.
And I made a lot of really bold, scary, terrifying moves that were the best things that ever happened to me.
Mm. And to add a little bit more of the details of that, from what I remember of your story, you had gone to all the doctors. You had
Mhm.
tried all the things that they had given you to try. And you really hit the nail on the head when you said they aren't addressing the root cause.
Mhm.
And I know this I have really close family members who've been on thyroid meds for 20 years
Mhm.
and still feel horrible every single day. I
Mhm.
have friends whose wife, like I have a friend whose wife, their thyroid was removed entirely because they're just like, I don't know, can't
Mhm.
figure it out. It's
Yeah.
bothering you. You don't need that piece of your body, apparently.
Yep.
And she doesn't feel any better because
Mhm.
hello, your body is not made with extra parts. Um, but then your brother's death, as awful as that was, that made you realize life is precious. I have got to figure this out.
Mhm.
And the impressive thing is, as awful as you were feeling, because I know what it's like to feel so awful you could barely scrape yourself off the ground. As awful as you were feeling, you did all the research. You basically got, in my opinion, this is not official, people, in my opinion, Sarah basically got her own medical degree by
Yeah.
figuring things out on her own and is
Yeah.
thriving today, not only for herself, but it's teaching scores and scores of women how to do this
Mhm.
as well. Because, like you said, there's so many people who don't know. They just don't,
Yeah.
they may be trying their best to help women. It's usually women, right, who are dealing with this,
Yeah.
but they just don't have the intel, they don't have the experience, or they don't have the information.
Mhm.
The
Well,
key, so
it's kept from us. It's purposely kept from us because they make money off of illness. It's the sick care system. It's not it's not the well care system. Yeah, that's so cute. I it's really cool. You're the only person that's ever said that to me. Like, I basically turned myself into a doctor. I did. I literally got my own PhD. And, I spent, it was honestly a pleasure I was in 2 schools at the same time. I was getting my degree and my certification at the same time, and I was studying probably 50 to 60 hours a week for years. I think
Mm,
3 consistent years, where I just had my nose in books or in a test or in some sort of a, like, guinea pig situation with, herbs and food and juicing and, and then
mhm,
I really dove into the energy work and, healing myself spiritually, and it was such a massive, massive undertaking, that I'm very proud of, nowadays,
mhm.
and, I still continue to learn and grow with my clients now, but, I really do feel smarter than most doctors.
Well, because you have a lot of information they don't
Mm.
have. As you
Mhm.
said, they're not trained to do they are
Not
trained
at
to
all.
prescribe medicine, right? Or to cut something out. They're not trained to heal us. I really want to get to your shares. Your shares are so good. So your first one
Okay.
was eat more plants, understand the importance of minerals in the diet, and welcome all the healing foods Mother Gaia, the earth, provides. Tell us
Yeah.
about this, and especially tell us about this in context of thyroid challenges.
So, one of the things that I've deeply dove into this past year and a half has been the gut. I was introduced to a test called BiomeFX by the company Microbiome Labs.
Mhm.
And there is a scientist right now. I always say his name wrong. Kieran, Kirshawn. I'm sorry, totally butchered that. But he is a cutting edge microbiome scientist, and the studies that he's been releasing and this test that he released have literally changed the game. And so I dove into this, seeing if it was another outlet, another portal that I could help my clients with, and it's been absolutely miraculous. And one of the things that he has discovered that this test will show you, that teaches you about your microbiome, is that we are over consuming plant animal meat, and that really what our microbiome needs to thrive is plants and
Mm.
plant
Mhm.
proteins. So the way that I teach my clients in my community now to look at protein is this whole old school mentality of like, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to lift all these weights and then I'm going to pound 40 grams of protein in my coffee and then eat it with bacon and eggs. Like,
Yes.
you are saturating your microbiome in protein when there's these 2 different functions that our gut does. One is called saccharolytic fermentation and proteolytic fermentation, and in order to do these functions properly, our gut needs high fibrous foods, yummy
Mm.
fibrous foods, not dead animal meat to do this. The animal meat will actually um, it hinders and kills and disrupts the microbiome. So it's been really interesting. I've been shifting my clients to this concept of like, hey, we're gonna eat legumes, nuts and seeds first, and then we're gonna go wild caught fish, then turkey, then chicken, then red meat, hopefully never pork, but red meat sparingly. And so you prioritize it in order of like lots of legumes, nuts and seeds, then wild caught fish, then organic turkey, organic chicken, and see how low on the totem pole chicken and red meat is.
Mhm.
So if we stick to that guidepost, we will make our gut extremely, extremely happy. And we will build back that good bacteria that the majority of us are depleted in from just simple over antibiotic saturation from the medical community and what's in our foods as well.
Oh my goodness, there's so much in what you just said. There's so much there. You know what? I don't know if you've I just happen to have this right here. I don't know if you read this book, I'm So Effing Tired by Dr. Amy Shah,
I
but
have it.
she's
That's a great
echoing
title.
oh, so right, so good. You can see I've like earmarked it and because she talks about what you're talking about. She doesn't specifically mention the thyroid, but I feel like a lot of women have undiagnosed thyroid issues because we're so stressed out all the time. We're basically messing with our hormones. We're messing
Mhm.
with our hormone balance, and which messes up our gut, which means it And if we're over consuming meat, we're making
Yeah.
our bodies too acidic. We've got too many omega
Mhm.
6s, not enough omega 3s. All of these things you're talking about, right?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, she talks a lot about this as well. So I love that you're bringing that up. And by the way, I can't wait for your book when your book comes out.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Because a lot of people don't realize that the hormone conversion actually begins, a lot of it happens in the gut. And one of the things that I test and talk to my clients about is their estrogen recycling and whether or not their guts, their microbiomes, like even producing enough estrogen or if it can convert and get rid of excess xenoestrogens. And, it's really fascinating. I highly, if anyone wants to know what's going on with their health and how to move their health forward as just like a regular maintenance, even pulling this test and like knowing what's going on in your gut is like huge thing to start with.
Yes. And um, you mentioned mineral balancing. You and I were talking about mineral balancing a little
Yeah.
bit before this. And I'd love for you to talk about, I think you have this. Do you have the physical? I couldn't get
I
this in time.
I don't have, well, I have my other salts, but this
Oh.
is my favorite. Mineral balancing. So all of these tests that I'm talking about were a part of the processes that I use in order to recover my test or my health. And yes, it was about year 3 I discovered the hair tissue mineral analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And I pulled my first one and almost died. Like, I still have it. I was in severe adrenal burnout. All of my macro minerals, I had severe calcium displacement. I had almost no magnesium. I was so deficient in my magnesium, super deficient in my sodium, super deficient in my potassium. And then it's just like a trickle down from there of, my zinc, selenium, manganese, like everything else. Like I was just crazy depleted in all of my minerals. And then what really freaked me out was I had severe aluminum toxicity. And, at that time, one of my main symptoms was memory loss. And I mean, like, my memory loss was so bad that I was scared. I was getting like worried that I had onset Alzheimer's or dementia or something. And so when I started doing my mineral balancing, I was like, holy crap. I started moving out that aluminum and increasing my all of my minerals and my memory just restored naturally, and bonus, all of my anxiety completely went away. So I believe it was the aluminum that was also blocking the neurons from communicating properly within my brain that was like just giving me random panic attacks too. So yes, I'm obsessed with sodium. I have sodium and minerals all over my desk. I live by them. Um,
Love it.
I love the Celtic sea salt. It is so such a balanced, very potent salt. So what I do is I have my massive. I drink 2 of these a day. It's 52 ounces. So just to make it look easier, I basically will just put some of the salt. I just dabble it into my water and I sip on that all day long. So I remineralize my water. And why that's important is a lot of people don't realize that they're drinking dead water. Reverse osmosis is completely stripped. Yeah, sure, it's purified, but it's purified of literally everything. And just the processes, the turns and all the bends and everything that it goes through in the pipes, it really completely like dismantles the molecules and literally kills it. It's not a living thing anymore. So the minerals, putting minerals into your water, it remineralizes it. But also our adrenals, we have to have sodium. Our adrenals have to have sodium. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are scared of salt, especially the older generations. They're a part of the people that were like, salt is terrible, get rid of salt. What they don't understand is there's differences in salt. There's the table salt, the really crappy processed, bleached, just stripped junk that's in a lot of the processed food. And like, the table salt that's in the little round container we make Play-Doh out of. Right? And then there's the real actual mineral, right? That's not just sodium. It could be multiple different macro and micro minerals altogether. And, a lot of my women are coming to me with adrenal burnout. They are so overwhelmed. They have this unbelievable feeling and sense of overwhelm. They're constantly living in survival. And I'm like, you have no sodium. Of
Mm.
course, you know?
Yes.
And then not to mention, they also have no potassium because,
Thank you.
you know, they go hand in hand. They're our main electrolytes. We have to have them and we have to have them in a balance. You know, I'm a Libra, so everything in my life has to be balanced. But literally, these two things, anatomically, biologically, have to be balanced in order for us to feel well. So
Mhm.
everyone's like, "Oh, I'm gonna drink a Gatorade for my electrolytes." No, honey. No. Okay. No. You stay
Bless
away
your
from
heart.
no Gatorades, no Powerades, okay? This is what you do. And this is a great trick for post-workouts too, okay? So, um, potassium in coconut water is so, so high. We need 4,700 milligrams of potassium a day, and a lot of people don't we can't get close to that. So one of the hacks that I use in order to keep my potassium and my sodium high is I funnel it through my drinks because we drink all day long, don't we?
Mhm.
Right? Oh, and this is one of the other things that a lot of my clients come to me. I call it the dry sponge syndrome. They're like, I'm so thirsty, but I drink so much all day long. And I'm like, right, I know, because your electrolytes are out of balance. So we
Mm.
need sodium to push our water into our cell. So we're uptaking it and actually using it, right? But then we need the potassium to push it out of our cells. So say I have a client that comes to me and she's on a diuretic. I'm like, ooh, let's move you off and shift, talk to your doctor, see if we can shift you off the diuretic and have you just start consuming potassium. So, like for water weight, water retention, potassium draws it out of your cell, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, I love that salt. Do you use it?
Yeah, I'm gonna switch to it because I've been using Himalayan sea salt, but I understand that the Celtic sea salt has actually even more minerals than
Mhm,
the Himalayan sea salt.
mhm,
So, I think what you're describing is what I've heard called an adrenal cocktail. So, where you have a little
mm,
bit of vitamin C, like for me, it's lemon juice. Some people will prefer like an or a little bit of fruit juice, but a little vitamin C, the potassium either from coconut water or I'll use some aloe vera because that's
mhm,
really soothing for the gut. And then the really high quality salt, right? The sea
mhm.
salt, the Celtic sea salt. Some people
Yeah.
call it gray
Yeah.
salt.
Yeah, you're right. That's a basic adrenal cocktail. Yeah. I have more in-depth, recipes, but yeah, you're right. That is a basic adrenal cocktail, and, it's highly supportive to the adrenals, which, all of these things I'm touching on, they're like, "Well, what does this have to do with thyroid health?" What doesn't it have to do with thyroid health? Okay. Like, hello, your thyroid is within an endocrine system, okay? It's part of the
Mhm.
system, and where does that system connect to? Everything else in your body. So,
Yes, so good. And
mhm.
we are just going on a roll here. I want to push us a little forward because we're gonna run out of time.
Okay, sorry.
I know it's so good. It's so good. So your next tip was stop neglecting and ignoring what your inner self is telling you. It wants to guide you to perfect health and happiness. And when I read this, I got chills because I was thinking to myself, how many times have I ignored what my body was trying to tell me and just driven my health into the ground because of it? I'm sure you see that a lot in your practice.
Yeah. Oh, man. We are so out of touch with our intuition nowadays, it's insane. I
Mhm,
was too, and I didn't realize how out of touch I was with myself until I started becoming back in touch with myself,
mhm.
and I think one of the first areas that women are completely, ignoring themselves and out of touch with their inner self is in their food. I
Mm.
don't Everyone is so it seems so just disconnected, like, "I don't know what to eat, I don't know how to eat," and I understand there's a lot of different factors that go into that, but one of the things that I make my clients do right off the bat is a food and tracking system, food and symptom tracking system, and although I'm having them actually track what they eat and drink and how it makes them feel for the purpose of trying to find unnecessary foods that are causing them symptoms, really what they don't understand, what I'm really doing is putting them back in touch with their intuition,
Mm.
is I'm making them pay more attention to themselves.
That is so critical. I cannot
Mhm.
tell you how many times I have taken someone off dairy and they realize, wait, my nose isn't stuffy, or I don't feel
Mhm.
bloated, or I don't have this like weird, mucusy feeling in my mouth. I'm like, why do you think that is?
Yeah, and see, exactly, like, they can tell you right off the bat that they feel better and why they feel better, so the question is like, well, why were you ignoring that to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That's so important. And I'm dropping right here. You can probably see it scrolling across the bottom. Coach Sarah Joy has a 6 secret truths about thyroid illness your doctor won't tell you. Your doctors aren't telling
Mhm.
you. So you can grab that. I'll also link it below. But this is a great series. I signed up for myself, and I get a lovely text message every day
Oh,
from
you
Coach
do?
Sarah Joy.
Cool.
So it's so awesome. It's all good. Oh my gosh, so much goodness here. And the next thing that, the share that I wanted to talk about was
Mhm.
the drop the trendy eating and do what feels good and serves your body. This is kind of what you were just talking about, where
Mhm.
we need to start noticing what feels good in our body. And I think so many
Yeah.
times we ignore it, either because it's inconvenient, oh, we're going out with the family and everyone's eating X. No
Mhm.
matter that X makes me feel like shit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be the one, being different or being difficult or whatever. But sometimes we
I
just,
just don't give a shit. I'm
yeah, I
gonna
don't
be
anymore
me.
either, because it's not worth it to me, right? It
Right,
is not worth
exactly.
it to have for me, it was
Yeah.
migraines.
I'm
Um,
seriously over the amount of women that come to me and they're like, "I'm keto, I'm paleo," and I'm like, "Why?" What I have learned is these these diet trends, they teach us to cut out entire food like sections, and so I constantly meet women that are like, "I don't eat fruit," and I'm like, "Why?"
mm,
Or, "I don't eat complex carbs. I cut all carbs out. I don't even eat potatoes." Why? Oh my gosh. Or like, because I'm following this diet, I'm following that diet. I mean, and it's honestly like, to be fair, it's not a lot of people's fault because trends and marketing is powerful and it works, and a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I did this and I lost so much weight." And it's like, okay, but in reality, one of the things that I love that's happening to the collective, like, consciousness right now is we are actually reverting back to our, like, ancestors and how we used to be and how we used to connect to the earth and our practices, and it's the best possible thing ever. And one of those things that we have to reconnect with is all aspects of eating, not just for spiritual health and wellness, not just for thyroid health, but it is just so crucial. It's crucial for so many reasons. Our gut, our bacteria, we need to be exposing our bacteria to 50 different types of plants a week through spices and
mm,
herbs and plants. And our thyroid, it has to have iodine in order to be okay. Well, where do you get iodine? From the ocean, like from salt and minerals, like we need to be exposing our things, not eliminating foods. And so a lot of women listening may be like, well, I have all these food intolerances and all these things hurt me. Then you're probably low on your hydrochloric acid. Okay. A lot of people think food intolerances is a food intolerance when in reality, it's your minerals are depleted and you can't digest and break down properly, either because you have depleted minerals or because you have a depleted gut microbiome. And both of those are repairable so that you can bring more diverse amounts of food back into your life. And guess what? Fruits don't make you fat. Complex carbs don't make you fat. Veggies don't make you fat. Neither do salads. So all
right.
the things that we need to reconnect with are actually naturally low fat, low caloric index. And that's what I love about it. And
Oh, amen. You're
yeah.
speaking my language here. Oh, because yeah, for me, I had leaky gut, right? And it was because my microbiome was completely out of whack. I had tons of food intolerances. I had to heal all of those things to heal my thyroid, to heal my hormone imbalances. All of it works together. And that's what the medical community doesn't realize, they don't practice that way. They practice on individual pieces, not the whole.
Yeah.
So, okay, the next share is do what makes you happy and follow your dreams no matter what. I think this really dovetails off of
Yeah.
your last point, is that so many of us, we tamp down our dreams. It's almost like we're living for other people for a while, and it's really hard for us to allow ourselves to dream. What made you decide that your happiness and your dreams were important?
I almost died.
That'll do
My
it.
illness almost completely killed me. And, when you lose someone and then you almost lose yourself, you really look at life in a completely different aspect. But, it's really easy to get lost in motherhood. It's really
Mhm.
easy to get wrapped up in our partners. It's so easy to completely neglect ourselves. I used to feel like a maid or like a slave to my family. And I don't know, like it's just kind of this gradual thing that happens as moms, especially. It's like we have to give so much to our children, and we're tired, and like the house is a mess, and all these things you bog us down. And then the years go on, and before you know it, it's like you you don't even know what you're alive for, other than like cooking dinner and going grocery shopping and driving the kids to soccer.
Yeah.
So it was this rude awakening of, I have to figure out who I am, and that requires every ounce of happiness that I can restore. And I did little things. Like, I remembered as a teenager, I loved bike riding and skateboarding. And so here I am, 39, riding a skateboard down the street, because why not? It made
Yes.
me happy. And I was so deep in wifehood and motherhood for so long, and being sick, that I didn't have the opportunity to fulfill my passions of any kind. So for me, going back to school and blossoming into a coach was, it's like everything I've ever wanted and dreamed of, and it's made me a better mother. And having my boundaries and putting myself first and having a awesome daily self-care routine that I love, and filling up my cup, I'm able to give out to my clients, give out to my community, give out to my kids, a better version of myself than I ever have been. And I'm so
Mhm.
grateful for that. So people are like, oh, it takes away from the family, it takes too much time. You got to reframe that, because if you don't, then, honestly, neglecting yourself, it will inevitably lead to some sort of dis-ease.
Yes. And your family will notice. They won't be as happy because you're not. What is it?
Yeah.
Happy wife, happy life, or happy mom, happy. There's some phrases around it. Well,
Yeah.
and you mentioned this to me. I wanted to bring this up because you'd recommended this Four Sigmatic mushroom cacao mix, and I was like, this would be the perfect thing to relax at the end of the night because it has adaptogens in it. It's a
Mhm.
little bit sweet. It comes in these cute little packets. You just have to add hot water. I made one.
It's amazing, isn't it?
My little heart mug. I made one.
Yum.
It's delicious. I mean, who doesn't like chocolate? Let's be real. But it's
Yeah.
healthy chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah. And believe it or not, there are specific keystone bacteria in our gut that need cacao.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I'm gonna look back at that GI map and figure out which one of those are.
Yeah, yeah. It's the Bacteroides family and the Akkermansia. So yeah, it feeds your microbiome.
Really?
And, like you said, it's calming, it's relaxing. And what I love about this, obviously it's organic too, but it's just really, like you said, it's healthy. Oh, I see the cinnamon sticks. I forgot it had the cinnamon in it. I will even add a touch of honey to sweeten it a little more myself, and because I'm obsessed with anything antiviral, since everyone has infections. So I'm always about like, what can I add in here to make this even cooler? But yeah, it really just chills you out, especially when it's cold and you crave something hot and chocolatey, like when you're on your period. Mhm.
Well, and they say you can make it ice too, so even in the heat of
Oh yeah.
summer.
I actually haven't tried that. I just prefer
There you
the
go.
warm, cozy aspect of it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Sarah, it has been amazing having you on. I hate to cut it short, but oh my gosh, so much goodness here. I cannot thank you enough. I will be sure to link all of your information below. CoachSarahJoy.com, is that correct? Is that how people can find you?
Yeah, so I'd love to just end it on one quick note if I
Mhm.
can.
Absolutely.
I want everyone to know that I have a worldwide online community called the Butterfly Gang.
Mm.
And this is my avenue of educating and empowering everyone across the globe, because there's only one of me and 200 million of you. So I encourage you guys all to go to coachsarahjoy.com, and come and join my community where I'm teaching on the 10 root cause factors of thyroid illness right now, what they are, and of course, providing the fixes on how to recover and restore your health. And I even give you the resources to do that as well. So come and join me.
I love it. Thank you so much for bringing
You're
your goodness to the
welcome.
world. Oh, we so appreciate you. I'm going to put you in the green room, grab a mocktail. I'll catch you in a
I'll have some
minute.
coconut water.
Perfect. Yeah, get your adrenal cocktail. Oh my goodness. How amazing was that? I knew you were going to love her. So much wealth of knowledge that this woman has. So I'll be sure to drop all the links below so you can catch them. And just a reminder, what are you going to do to create a healthy, delicious lifestyle for yourself today? Because you are important. And until we join next time on the Healthy Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine next Monday at 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 9 a.m. Pacific or 11 a.m. Central, make sure you have a healthy, delicious lifestyle. If I can get this going on, we'll be good. Thank you for joining me today. You can learn more about me, my products, and services at ingoodcleantaste.com. Be sure to join me for another episode every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific or 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on my globally recognized show, Healthy Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine.